My problem with the Memphis Grizzlies, and I've been very clear where I stand with this, somehow they think they can talk their way into a championship. You can't talk about it, you have to be about it. You talking about, oh, we're a dynasty. A dynasty starts after you win something. You know, what dynasty has ever, oh, this team is how? Why? What have you done to become a dynasty? The Warriors can talk. Draymond can talk. Draymond is a part of 4 championships in 6 seasons. And no matter what you think about him, he's a 4-time champ, a 4-time All-Star, 4-time first-team all-defense, defensive player of the year. He led the league in steals one year, second-team All-NBA, third-team All-NBA. Okay, give me Dillon Brooks accolades in the NBA. He's led the league in fouls twice. Mm-hmm. That's his only accomplishment.
Yep.
But I don't get why you might not like Draymond. Is Draymond the most accomplished Warrior? No. Obviously, everybody knows that's Steph Curry. But I think everybody can conclude or draw the same conclusion I can. They're not winning those first 3 championships without Draymond.
Yeah.
He plays an integral role for this team. He's not asked to score 30 points a game. No. He's not even asked to score 15, 20 points a game. He's asked to do a little bit of everything, and he does that at the highest level. And for Dillon Brooks to say, oh, you know what, I don't like Draymond. Okay, fine. Why? What did Draymond do to you? What? He annoyance? I mean, it seems to me you try to beat Draymond, but just not nearly as skilled or as accomplished. You try to have the same role that Draymond has adopted, mastered. That's what you're trying to do.
True.
And now all of a sudden...
They're actually very similar in that regard.
Yes.
Yep.
But Draymond is a better player than he is. Little does he know. All this talking, this tough guy image and all this. I mean, you more known for those bull jive outfits that you come to the game in. One minute you look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. The next minute like you on an episode of Hee Haw. I don't know what I remember Hee Haw.
You do?
I do remember Hee Haw. I used to watch it every Saturday night, me and my brother and sister.
Wow.
Skip, what is this? Why are we always talking about Memphis, talking or doing something that's not basketball related? Why are you taking shots at Draymond? What did Draymond ever do to you besides beat your brakes off you and the Grizzlies? I just don't get this, Skip. I'm 1,000% on Draymond's side. And I love how Draymond systematically broke down everything he said and said, this is why you're wrong, and this is why. And Skip, I'm not big into calling somebody an idiot, but I will call you a clown. But, bro, those were some idiotic statements that you made. I'm not saying you're an idiot, but what you said was idiotic. Because you look at Draymond's resume, no matter what you think about him, Draymond is going to Springfield one day. He's going, Skip. Did you forget?
Hard for me to wrap my head around.
Well hold on.
Shannon, the point is everybody goes to Springfield.
Well, okay, what am I going to do about these 2 gold medals that he got?
Yeah.
I forgot to mention those, Skip. So 4 championships, 2 gold medals, a defensive player of the year. Yeah, he going. And deservedly so.
Has he updated his resume of late?
Championship last year. You need something more recent than that?
I got a lot of things more recent than that, unfortunately. Okay, if you make me pick a side here, I can't pick Dillon's side, but I'm going to be stone cold honest with you here. It's hard for me to be on Draymond's either, because the largest point here is that Draymond now refuses after games to talk to the media for the most part because he saves it for his podcast. And this podcast in particular was what I call the magician's sleight of hand. You know, sleight of hand. Yeah. What they do is they distract you over here with one hand because they're tricking you with the other hand.
Right.
Well, Draymond was tricking you yesterday because he did not want to stand up and account for why he quit on his team during a play, not for the whole game. Now we've got Draymond building himself more of a glass house and throwing stones from the glass house because after the punch and the quit the other day, and not to mention, speaking of Memphis, remember at the end of Game 1, near the end of Game 1 last year at Memphis, Draymond just lost his mind. He got tossed from the game, and he does a weird victory lap around the Memphis arena. Remember this? And he actually shot it completely over the rim, and it was not a great look for Ja. But the point is, Draymond didn't talk to the media. He went right back to his hotel room, remember, and he did a podcast. So he's the new media, so he's going to control his own narrative to you by speaking just to you, his fans, in his podcast. Well, that's the new way to go.
Right.
I don't have great respect for that because you need to take Q&A from the current media, whatever they are, the old media, if that's what you want to call them, and stand up and answer to what you did and how it impacted your team for better or for worse. So Draymond's also speaking from a position of strength right now because he got Steph back the other night and Steph scored 40. They lost, but Steph scored 40.
Right.
And now they're going to Memphis tonight in a big TNT game. And Ja obviously is not available yet for the Memphis Grizzlies. So Dillon doesn't have Ja. Okay, so again, I'm not defending Dillon Brooks, but I don't have the biggest problem with his quotes because if we break them down, he said, I don't like Draymond at all. Well, a lot of people don't like Draymond, so that's not like the end of the world on that
You don't like him as a basketball player or person?
Okay, well, then he goes into, his game is cool with Golden State, but if you put him anywhere else, you're not going to know who Draymond is. That may be slight exaggeration, but maybe not, because he got to play with, obviously, Steph and Clay.
So if we put Dillon Brooks in it, we barely know who he is in Memphis.
Okay, bingo, touche, you were correct. Okay, I got it. He goes on, Dillon goes on to say of Draymond, he plays with heart, he plays hard, he knows the ins and outs of their defense. I guess that's why they like him over there. Well, yeah, that's exactly why they like him. He fits.
Yes.
And for a while, especially early in the dynastic run, he was the guts and glue of the team because they were a little soft except for him.
Right.
And he was a tougher guy. Yeah, he was the enforcer. And he did the dirty work for them. He banged the boards for them. He talked in ways, he trash talked in ways that they needed. They needed to set a little edge against the opponent.
Okay.
And he did that. And he distributed the basket. He's a very good passer. I'm not going to say he's all-time great, but he's a very good, bigger passer.
Yes.
He not a shooter, not a free throw shooter. That's not his forte. But he can do all those little things at a very high level that become big things when it comes to winning championships. You need him. He's a perfect fit for what they have. But was he blessed to be able to play with the two greatest shooters? Well, sure he was.
But Skip, we can make that case about a lot of people that were blessed to play with two all-time great players. But the question is, let me ask you this. What's Dillon Brooks' role to the Grizzlies? Is he better at his job than Draymond is at his?
No.
Hell no.
No.
So why are you talking? At least, Skip, if you're going to talk about somebody, you at least got to be better than them. You can't talk about something. You can't punch up at somebody. You got to punch across.
Okay, but I don't know the quote I just read you. I don't know if it's that damning. I think there's a lot of positive in the quote.
It ain't no positive because he's saying, Draymond, if you weren't in Golden State, nobody would know who you are. The only reason that you became to who you are. So my question is to you, where could you go? Bro, if you were somewhere else in Memphis, you might be the 8th or 9th man.
He might
That might be one of the reasons why they don't win a championship because you're in the starting lineup.
Yeah. He is an edge setter for Memphis. He is their gray area defender. And we remember what he did to Peyton Jr.
He tricking y'all.
What's that?
He tricking y'all.
Okay.
Talk about he playing defense. He tricking y'all.
I think he plays pretty good defense. He plays very physical defense, and he helps them set a tone. Is he very skilled? No, he's not very skilled. He's like a low 30s three-point shooter.
Oh, so in other words, he's the very thing that he's criticizing Draymond for.
Well, you can argue. You could even go so far as to say he's a poor man's Draymond.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But he does play that role for Memphis. The difference is Draymond's way out there with his podcast and his media sort of image. His presence is huge, and Dillon Brooks seems to know nothing about them. He stays away from the media. He doesn't have social presence.
What's he talking about? Draymond is a four-time first-team all-defensive player.
He is.
That's something to be said.
And to your point, he won Defensive Player of the Year.
So when is Dillon Brooks going to win one of those? He got to get something. He has to get some credentials on his resume so he has some credibility. You just can't take shots at people saying, oh, he's just this and that, when this guy's resume is impeccable compared to yours.
Okay, well, the larger issue point that I do agree with you on, he's part and parcel of the whole attitude of the Grizzlies. They act like they just won last year's championship. They still act like it. Maybe the Ja incident now will sort of humble them back a level because I'm not sure this year's going to turn out all that great for them. I don't know how it's going to.
I didn't think it was going to turn out. I didn't think it was going to turn out well for him anyway. Ja would say way back in November that hey, we good in the West.
He said we're good. Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. He said he only feared Boston. Right.
The only time you're going to see Boston is when y'all play them in that building. It will not be for the NBA title.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Skip, I mean, of all the things, why are you so concerned? I know, Skip, I understand. But basketball is not like, MMA or not like boxing. You don't have to sell the games.
No.
So I understand that the Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors are about to play each other.
Yeah.
So why did you feel you needed to take a shot at Draymond? Because that's low-hanging fruit? Because, he ain't skilled like Steph Curry. He don't do this. He's not a defender like Jordan or Kobe, or he can't rebound the ball like Ben Wallace. Okay, fine. He does a little bit of everything. He's not great at anything, but he's damn good at a lot of things. And when you combine all the things that he's good at, compared with the two best shooters in the history of the NBA on the same team, boom, you get championships.
Okay, I got it. He has not this year updated his resume.
No, Skip, he's not the same player.
Not the same.
As we get older, but I tell you what, he's an older player, and he might not be the same as he was 5 years ago, but I guarantee you, name a team that would take Dillon Brooks over Draymond, even in Draymond's advanced stage. To do what?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good, hard question, just because Dillon Brooks is so much younger than he is. It looks like Draymond's on his last legs, and you asked me, was it yesterday or the day before, do you think Draymond's going to be a Warrior next year? And I said, I doubt it.
I take Draymond on his last leg as opposed to Dillon Brooks on fresh legs, because he doesn't do anything better than Draymond. Can he pass the ball better than Draymond? No. Can he rebound the ball better than Draymond? No. He's just as poor a shooter from the three-point line as Draymond.
Yeah,
he's just as poor a free throw shooter as Draymond.
Yep.
So is he as good a defender as Draymond? Did you see the job that Draymond did on Yoke last year? Mm-hmm. So what other than age?
I do think Dillon Brooks is a very good defender, but he's a smaller defender. At least Draymond's got more size.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why he be getting cooked in the games I watch. Maybe he must be knowing I'm watching and he gets cooked. Maybe. Because when I watch him go against Book and all these other guys, I watched him against the Lakers. Who you guarding? Had 5 fouls. Every time I turn around, foul on him. And he got his hands out like, what happened? You fouled. That's what happened.
Yeah. Well, all I know is Draymond needs to take some accountability for this year, and he's not taking it at all.
Skip, they're not. They're a different team. Obviously, what transpired this offseason, in the training camp, that's playing a role in it. But somebody else should have been able to take that shot. If somebody else want to take a shot at Draymond, fine.
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'll buy that.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.